Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm Dr. Zevin.
Hi. Pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you.
This is Mr. Garza.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Garza, Dr. Zevin is going to talk with you about medical issues and about the ADA issue. Okay?
Wonderful. That's great. And can we close the door? Because I would hate to be falsely accused of trying to video record other people's health care.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm trying to record mine, which has
Is that all right?
always
Yep.
been the
Okay.
case.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Now, you are a medical doctor,
I am.
and
Could
you've
I-
taken the oath, the Hippocratic Oath, to do no harm and to, prevent, injury from injustice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I ask you to take that one?
No problem. No, I totally
In
understand.
terms of,
No,
the
I
arrangement
do
of this
understand.
room, which is not ideal.
I understand.
So I'm Barry Zevin.
No,
I'm a specialist in internal medicine.
sounds like my prior primary care doctor,
Who is that?
Mitchell Katz, Director of Public Health.
I see.
I believe he was an internalist also,
Yes.
until he abandoned me.
Abandoned.
Yes.
And that's my card.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, what about ADA? I've been asking for years now for an ADA representative so that I can talk to them about, all my denials and everything else. Can we get one set up for me?
I believe so. There's a
Thank you.
process for that, and
Why was I not informed of this process earlier if there has been a process for this? I've always been told that, there is no ADA representatives.
honestly, I'm not sure what an ADA representative would be. Usually, that's something that people would.
You're
If
saying-
people have a disability, they may need to have some sort of accommodation, and we often work with advocates around that.
So you're telling me that the San Francisco Department of Public Health not only does not have somebody for ADA on staff who can answer these questions, you work with outside advocates.
Often, yeah.
So the San Francisco, the 14th largest city in the country, doesn't have an ADA person for these types of things
no,
that might come
I
up.
believe there is someone, and I think that Ada can help you get connected with that.
I believe I have an email from Ada that clearly
Yeah.
states, please note that SFDPH does not provide an ADA representative for you. Here it is. Let me show it to the camera. Okay, so, for you to make that representation doesn't make me feel
Right.
very comfortable.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Please.
It's not my area of expertise. And it's
Can
certainly
I
something
be
that
honest with you?
Yeah.
I've been screwed by this department, and that is my area of expertise, and I've asked for all these things all along. I have what's known as an adjustment disorder, which, was told to me by Mitchell Katz, basically that I'm a well-adjusted individual in a maladjusted society who cannot adjust to disorder. So that's why I've been asking all the appropriate questions, and haven't seemed to gotten all the appropriate answers. Nobody seems to know. In the 14th largest, city in the United States, it's just baffling to me. But I realize I have the adjustment disorder. I do realize the narrative that's being portrayed. It's extremely sad. I also, for your edification, have, just to show you, after my doctor abandoned me, the reason he abandoned me was because I was going to sue the city, because in 2001, I went to emergency at San Francisco General. My doctor, Medicare, everybody informed me that I wasn't in emergency. In 2003, in case number CO23485PJH, in federal court, the city got up and testified and had my case dismissed, only to sign a confession in 2007 through the Office of Inspector General, admitting fault and guilt on page 2 of this settlement agreement under number 6, admission of liability. So I'd like to show you that so that you can understand that I've been further harmed by not only being abandoned by my doctor, that being a well-adjusted individual in a maladjusted society and having a confession like this, when I was told I was wrong, not being able to adjust to, the disorder that I've been fed, and nobody follow up on it from the Department of Public Health, the city attorney, or anyone, and it's just been a continuation of a denial of services, because if there was no consequence for this, what has been the consequence of all the years of denial of services that I've been put through? I want to establish a baseline, a record for you, to see, all the harm, the damages, the inhumanity that I've been placed through the Department of Public Health, simply because they've not been forthright, honest, in any fashion. Just this last year, because I was so medically ill, I went to San Francisco General on 430, 723, and 729 and was denied emergency care. I was told in 2007 that, this settlement agreement had changed things at San Francisco General, and that they realized that the law meant that they would have to provide a medical screening examination for anybody who came in seeking emergency services. Once again, that didn't happen, and I have the videos, and they're on YouTube. 15 years after the initial time that the hospital screwed me, and my doctor abandoned me for doing the right thing, not only did I get a confession in 2007, it's been 8 years, the practice has continued because, once again, they've denied me emergency services without providing a medical screening examination. So I just want you to know what this patient has had to go through as far as the inhumanity dealt by this institution. That's why I asked you if you were a doctor. That's why I asked you if you took the oath, because as a doctor, I have to be able to trust you.
That's the bottom line. I agree.
I have done nothing wrong. I have been victimized consistently. I've had a bogus restraining order against me from the Department of Public Health at 101 Grove that's on video 2.5 years ago, when I went to the DA and wanted to press charges. The DA told me he didn't care about my legal rights. I went down to press charges against the officers who allowed this bogus restraining order at the Department of Public Health, which is on the YouTube video, and I wasn't allowed to give my complaint, so that could be fixed. All I have learned, doctor, is that right does not exist in this world, and the more you fight for it, the more, the further away it gets. Sort of like, Hillary Clinton's emails, sort of like the vets and the $16 billion that's been spent on vet care that hasn't improved anything, sort of like the non-accountability of everything that this country seems to stand for. Well, I, as a person with an adjustment disorder who was labeled that by your department, who cannot adjust to disorder, wants all these disorders that have happened at the hands of DPH to be explained to me, and I'd love to have damages and, everything else paid to me as a human being, seeking what is right. I have to also tell you that personally right now I'm going through a lot of physical problems. I would love to get those looked at. I would love to have counseling so that maybe we could have a peer review of psychiatrists tell me, the person with the adjustment disorder, what it is that I have done wrong all these years. Or maybe they can tell me that I've done everything right and the system is screwed like I've been saying all along. And there is no accountability. So that I can, continue with my adjustment disorder. You have to realize that if I truly have a disorder, if there's something wrong with me, I want to learn. What did I do wrong? I've got the signed settlement agreement. I've got where I've been illegally denied and everything else and never faced anything. So being the fact that I'm a well-adjusted individual, I don't want to make mistakes. But apparently I haven't. And the guilty have never paid for it and have never been humane enough to explain it to me. And it's through the Department of Public Health. That's the part that really sticks in my claw.
Well, I'm going to say I'm available to try and talk to you about the physical elements. I can, if I can understand a little better about what kind of counseling might be helpful, I can think about recommending
Think
that
about
for you.
it, or will you recommend? I mean, there's no thinking, I'm asking.
Well, I'm going to try and do everything I can thoughtfully.
All right, now let me ask you another question. As a doctor, is it illegal for me to videotape the receipt of my health care?
In terms of videotaping the care that you're getting individual in your room, as far as I know, it's not illegal. It's unusual.
No, thank you for that. And so you can also realize that that's what I've been asking for, and that access and accommodation has never been granted to date, except for today.
Well, it's, can't speak for that actually, but I can speak for myself.
I agree, you can't speak for that, I can't. It's unfortunate, but it's also the truth.
Yeah.
And I will continue. So please realize that I will be videotaping our sessions and everything, and to go from there. This is not in any way, shape, or form to demean, to debase, But after having a signed confession and being told that I was wrong, and nobody ever coming clean, my adjustment disorder and under programmatic access, I have to videotape now because the truth holds no weight. All right, let me tell you, I've been having severe problems in this area. I had a major kidney, bladder, and swollen prostate. I went to San Francisco General, many times and was refused care there. Fortunately, I was taken to Mexico and I received care there, and I have those videos, and they gave me antibiotics, but I feel like it's returning. There's this thing going on with my pee that's really bad. My kidneys I feel like they're hurting. I've been in bed throwing up. I'm just ill as can be, and thank God, that I went to Mexico, because I could have been dead now because of the lack of care and the fact that I was denied emergency care at San Francisco General. And I have the medication receipts and everything if you need to view what they gave me in the past, which I don't think you need to, but if you do, I do have that.
That might be helpful in terms of your past medical history.
Well, yes, it might be helpful in terms of my past medical history, along with all the videos I have on YouTube to show how I've not received any medical help, contrary to my disorder, contrary to me telling everybody what is correct and what is the law, contrary to everybody misinterpreting the law and not being accountable. Doctor, on 2/24, I was arrested at 101 Grove seeking an appointment for HealthCare by the sheriff.
That's awful.
Is it any more awful than the Department of Public Health producing a bogus restraining order to keep me away from getting my health care on 8/15/2012?
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Is it any more awful than I have an assigned settlement agreement in 2007 in the Department of Public Health, the city attorney? No one has come to explain to this person that they labeled with an adjustment disorder why I have this disorder in my hand. This confession where they broke Impala law.
Let me see if I can focus on the medical stuff,
Please.
because I understand that's a big concern. The